We are on our Saturday TSL online call, and here we're talking about this idea of qualification. Now, qualification is often spoken as a social dynamics technique, but what I want to talk about it is for what it actually is. See, we live in a world where putting yourself out there is frowned upon. It's seen as something that is not the best technique to do. If you were to put who you are out there, that means your ambitions, your passion, how you look, what you were born with, your personality that you've developed. If you were to put yourself out there in the world, it's often looked at that this isn't going to get the best result. And what we look at in the world is to get the best result. All right, what we look at in our culture is how do we get the best results? That's going to say something about ourselves, and that is going to somehow define our self-worth. And see, the problem with this is that we have done this over and over again. Rather than fulfill our natural urge for whatever ambitions we have, all right, whether that's in our dating life, in our personal expression, in our career, in how we use our bodies, how we view ourselves, our worth, how we see it in the true ambition that we're born with. Really those things that we're driven as a human being, no matter what culture we live in. And we try and fulfill them by doing the hack, doing something different, or truly misrepresenting ourselves. Then the only result that we can get is going to be polluted. And that's the sad truth of it. That is the sad truth. That's the reality that we have. When you look at the results that you've gotten in your life, or that, you see as like being at the top of the top in your life, when you get those without being yourself or fearing being yourself, man, what do you have? What do you have? Your sense of winning is dependent upon all these attributes that aren't you. So it's never going to fulfill the thing that actually drove you. And let's look at these in a few specifics, man. So one, I may want to win the event. I may want to win it. I may want to be the best. But rather than it being me, I do all these things. I do all these hacks. Essentially, a lot of people might call it cheating. A lot of people might call it, supplementing in some way or whatever. But the thing is that, man, it's not going to be me. Let's look at this in our career, right? We go in, we want to establish ourselves as the best possible consultant for whatever job. We want to establish ourselves for that, right? We want that to happen. And so the thing that happens in that is so many people are focused on getting that job. So many people are focused on getting the recognition of that. Yet at the same time, they never build the skill set to be that. And so the time comes along where you actually have to perform. You actually have to, be the guy that comes in with all those great attributes of consulting for whatever it is you're doing. And geez, man, here's the thing. Here's the deal. If you put on that mask, at some point you're going to have to take it off. And when you take it off, man, you're going to fuck up. And that's when you're really going to fuck up. And that's when the window to you being a failure is going to be harder. And where we see this the most, hands down, is in people's sex lives and in their dating lives. This is why we're actually talking about it here on this call, is that when we do something to get the result of the girl liking us, or get the number, or, get whatever sex, get whatever relationships, get whatever status, and we're not that guy. We're not that guy that she said yes to. We're not that guy that society or the people around us applauded. And we have to take that mask off, right? We have to remove that. Guess what, man? You're left with nothing. And this all came from this conversation where there's only two reasons. There's only two reasons why you're going to experience rejection in life. And you only have control over one of them, right? Yet you play the part in both. And this is number one. You didn't represent yourself properly, all right? So you didn't show you. You weren't able to properly put yourself out there. And the second one is you just aren't qualified for one another. You're not meant to be. And that's a tough thing to accept, especially when you're on the bad end of that. And so just to explain, the part where you don't represent yourself properly, that's your technique. That's all the different stuff that you learn in social dynamics. That's all the different tricks and those types of things. But all those tricks all those techniques are tools to show you better. And if you don't have you there, then it doesn't work. Then it will ultimately be a failure. Whether it gets the desired short-term result that you look for, like them paying attention to you, getting the number and so on. But if you're not being you, it will fail. Why? Because it's a mask and you're going to have to take that mask off. The second thing is you guys aren't qualified to talk to each other, means that you showed you, they showed them, and one of you disagreed, or one of you thought, man, this isn't for me. If she saw your real self and she doesn't like that, but you like her, man, that sucks. But think about living the life that still gets that. Think about building the life off of inauthenticity, off of who you're not, just to get the result because you can't handle the pain. That is the life that so many men, so many women, so many people out there desire. Man, you're in so much fucking pain, so lost, so, disenchanted by whatever and feeling insecure that you will grab onto a result of something that you know that is bad for you just so you can feel that tinge of fulfillment, that little drop of fulfillment that's going to infect the rest of the lake, the rest of the pool, just so you can feel good. Man, that's how we deal with pain. You are going to build your best self. You're going to build your best possible person of learning to present who you are out there in the world in the right way, but absolutely you, to see if you're qualified, to see if, man, you can build a reality around you. And it sucks, man. It sucks for me every day when I meet people that I really want to be in my life and I put it out there in the best possible way and they don't want to be there. And they reject me after I've shown really me. I've really taken an effort towards it. That hurts. That sucks, man. You can't bypass that pain. But the thing is if I change myself, my true self, to fit that, man, I'm going to live my worst nightmare down the road. And we can't do that anymore. We have to build the life around us while being ourselves, putting it out there in the world, and then having those right people in the world come to us or seek them out or cultivate those relationships. That's what we're looking for, man. That's the real beauty in being yourself that you just can't get when you're dead set on faking it just to get a result.